So I just filmed this short film, no smoking, and I want to give you a behind the scenes look at how I made it and some of the lessons I learned along the way so that you can grow with me as a filmmaker. Let's get into it.
1 second. Housekeeping.
Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk about the script. I'm going to talk about making a shot list and how I prepared for this whole thing. I'm going to talk about the lighting and the gear I used, as well as the audio and working with actors, and then some of the tricks I found in the edit and what I learned through this whole process of making this short film. First part of the process, the script. And here's my first tip for you, is I based this on resources I already had at my disposal. I had a hotel room, I had a few people that wanted to act, and I had someone that's interested in doing a fight scene. So I said, how can I write something that will justify having a big fight scene at the end? I need something that gets extreme fairly quickly. So I decided on these two kind of druggy characters that are maybe trying to take over and rob this whole hotel, and they decided to do that by kidnapping someone and pretending to be a maid so they could get access to the people's rooms and go in there and steal their stuff. I wrote this script in Drama Queen. You get a month free trial, and it lets you format your script in proper script format, which actually gives a lot of useful tools to your cinematographer, to your director, to your props person, to everyone later, because it's formatted correctly. 1 page of script should be about 1 minute of screen time. That pretty much added up for me. This was 7 pages. The final thing ended up being 8.5 with the credits, with the opening credit sequence, and with my fight scene just being labeled fight scene. Once I had the script, the next step was props and figuring out what I needed to get. Make sure you've got everything you need before you start, and it helps by putting those objects in bold when you're writing as the script writer. The next thing I did was make a shot list, and this was one of my favorite exercises. What I did was I took the script and I went line by line and thought, how do I want to capture that moment? How do I see myself covering this as the cameraman? Is it gonna be an overhead? Is it gonna be a wide? Is it gonna be a tight? Do you see it handheld? Do you see it on a tripod? Do you see it on a gimbal? Do you see it from overhead or a low angle, really tight, or just the eye? Think of how you're gonna tell this story. And I really went through this entire script and I labeled it with numbers, and then I put those numbers onto a shot list that has the scene, shot, camera movement, and the description of the shot. And I worked through it until I had the whole thing planned out like this. And of course, all of this changed once I got the actors in the room, once we tried things, once I could try more angles. But just going through your script and picturing in your head, how do you actually see that being captured on camera? How zoomed in are you? What focal length are you using? Really good exercise to bring your script to life. It also means you show up to set with something looking like this, a shot list that you can check off one by one and make sure you got everything and you didn't forget a critical shot you need to tell the story. So really nice, reassuring tool to have with you before you start shooting. As far as lights go, I had these little guys, the Aputure MCs. This was my entire lighting package. And while they're not very powerful for a key light, they are great because you can slap them anywhere and have full control over your lighting. 3 lessons. First one you already know, shadow side looks better. Put the camera on one side and the light on the other side of your person. Here, here, behind them, pretty much anywhere but right there. Put the camera on this side, put the light on that side, and motivate it from a practical, a light that we see in the set that could believably come from the same side as your light. Look at these 2 scenes side by side. There's my only 2 angle options in the bathroom, and one of them looks significantly better in my opinion. Bad.
My name is Camila.
Second lesson, control what you can. All the stuff where I had the hotel lights on I think looks pretty gross when I was filming on the wides in the living room, and everything where I had my lights either in the ceiling or replacing the light bulbs in the bathroom, I think looks really good. If you can control the lighting, it's gonna look better. Practicals, a light in your shot can help to motivate the lighting and look really good, but then whenever you can, try to get control of the lights. Once you're in a close-up, you can do whatever you want as long as it comes from the same side that showed during your wide. Third lesson, white balance. The lights in the room, I read with an app called Kelvin Meter, and it said they were 2750 Kelvin. When I set my white balance in camera to 2750 though, it made these lights that were naturally very yellow look very white and kind of green and gross and not what the room looked like. So I ended up setting my white balance to 3200, and it gave sort of a warm feel to the room that looked kind of how I was seeing it in real life, but it still looked gross. If someone knows what you're supposed to do for white balance, please just let me know in the comments like what the proper technique is. I just talked to a cinematographer friend and he said, just doesn't have to look like real life. It just has to look good on the screen. So try to bring it as close as you can to the look you want in screen, in camera, so that you don't have a lot of work to do in post, or you don't have to push the image quite as far and possibly have it fall apart. All right, so the gear I used was an FX3. I've got a Sigma 14-24, a Sigma 24-70 with a Cinebloom filter. That's what you're looking at right now at about 55, and a Helios 58. So I tried to use all three of these lenses during the shoot. In the end, I think the best one were the Helios, which you see a lot in the hallway. That entire scene was filmed on that, and the Sigma 24-70. I think that gave a much more cinematic look. The wide angle, because of the lighting in the room and the lack of set decoration, I think makes it look pretty cheap. Once we got into the other room where I controlled the lights more and I stayed mostly on my 70, I think that just looks significantly better. And I would say no matter what tools you have, you're always gonna have restrictions. Figure out how you can best play to your strengths with the gear that you have. So the edit was actually super fun. And besides being able to grade 10-bit footage, and in DaVinci you can add glow and halation and just generally make everything look better, what was the best lesson I learned out of this was sound effects. And I've used, punches and cigarette lighter sound noises before, but I'm talking risers. I'm talking tones. I'm talking tension. These things were really fun to play with, and I got all of them for free. Here's how you do it. You go to filmcrux.com and you go to FilmCrux Plus. You can sign up for a membership there, lets you download all of their packs for free, and then you can unsubscribe and not pay a dime. Or you can say subscribed and pay $10 for it, whatever you want to do. Also, I think before this project, I underestimated how much storytelling you can do with just sounds that are off camera, or that you put in later as if something's happening off camera. For example, I had Mick backing up with a knife after he got punched by Marco. And what I wanted was that you heard Marco scrambling for the telephone, trying to call for help.
Hey. Hello? Hello?
I added that in post. I just filmed the telephone, kind of rattle it around and hit some buttons. Because before, what's Marco doing? Just standing there? He's not trying to leave, he's not yelling for help. We need some sort of auditory cue of what he's doing to help the storytelling. All right, the takeaway. Here's some last lessons I learned. Go make something. This was so fun to do, so fun to shoot. I learned so much more than just watching other people do it. Because you make mistakes and you say, how can I improve on that? Or you look at your shot and you say, this doesn't look good. Maybe if I go over here, maybe if I put a practical in the background. You try all these things and you learn to actually exercise your brain and not just see someone else exercising theirs. You don't get strong watching other people work out. You gotta go lift the weights yourself. Go get in the room. It's a lot more fun than just talking about it. Fast is fun. I was editing scenes the same day we shot them so that I'd be ready to show them to the people next time we filmed and get them hyped up, but also for me to know if I missed something. You shoot fast, you keep the momentum going, keeps your cast hyped, and then I edited fast so that I could show them where we were and kind of the vibe I was going for and get them excited, but also so that I knew I had everything I needed while I could still reshoot. Have a plan, but be flexible. Knowing my friends were gonna film on their day off made me really motivated to have a script, have a shot list, have everything ready to go so I wouldn't waste their time. But some of the most fun moments came from when they were in the room with me and we were playing and finding angles and finding ideas. Whether that was the fight scene, whether that was the lighting setup, like the lighting in the bathroom, only came for that whole scene when I had people to play with and to see what might look good. And we said, ooh, it looks really good putting on lipstick in the bathroom. Let's have that moment in there that wasn't originally planned. One of my favorite moments in the scene, when Marco first punches Mick, that all came from playing around. From Marco not being able to get the tape undone and saying, oh, what if it started this way? You try to undo the tape and I punch you. And then Mick scooting into the bathroom and talking to Val came out of that moment. That wasn't originally planned either. So have a plan and be ready to mix it up, because that's where some of the magic happens. Something that was nice about doing this project was I knew it wasn't going to Sundance, so I didn't put a lot of pressure on myself. One of my main actors got a haircut after the second day of shooting. No problem. Our little lights ran out of battery. We're shooting this one without lights. We don't have a gimbal. Let's use a hotel cart and try to push forward on that, even though it's a little bit wobbly. The whole point was to practice and have fun, so I didn't have to worry about it being perfect. You learn so much from going through the process, from doing the script, doing the shot list, filming, editing, putting the sound effects on. It's so much better to do that and have it being perfect and learn a lot than to wait until conditions are perfect. Plus at the end, I got to show it to all of my friends that I was there with for work, and we had a little screening with popcorn, and we had a blast watching it. That's it. That's the behind the scenes for my first short film, No Smoking. I hope you liked it and you learned something. Thanks for watching. Drop any questions or comments you have down below, and I'll see you on the next one.